Welcome to this series of webinars and tutorials on the Xultus product line of business phone systems. This video will show you how to install the Mixi desktop computer application in the first time setup so that you're ready to start using your phone with your computer. The first thing you need to do is to download and install the Mixi application. This is obtained from your Xultus MX phone system using a web browser. Your administrator will provide you with your username, password, and the address of the Xultus MX. I'll be using Windows for this video, but everything I'll show you here works the same for Macintosh users. So the first thing you want to do is open up your web browser and go to the address that your administrator gave you. You'll see a screen that looks something like this. This is where you're going to download all of the software you're going to need. If you're running Windows, go ahead and click on this link. It will download the Windows installer. Go ahead and download that and run the installer. If you're on a Macintosh computer, click here, download the Macintosh installer, and go ahead and install that. There are other files here which you can install later. For the purposes of this tutorial, we're just going to focus on the basic Mixi features. So again, if you're on Windows, click here and download and run the installer. On the Macintosh, click here and run the installer. Once you run the installer, it will install the application in Windows in the Xultus folder inside the Programs file folder. Then it also will put a shortcut on the desktop for Mixi. On a Macintosh, the application is installed in the Xultus folder inside the Applications folder. Once you open the Mixi application, you'll see a screen that looks like this. And here you're going to go ahead and enter the information that your system administrator has provided you. So it will be the login name, the password, and the address of the MX. This will be the same address that you used on the web page to download the software. You go ahead and then click OK, and it will launch Mixi for the first time. So there's a couple of things we want to do right away. So here we have Mixi launched, but we need to do a couple of things first. So one of the first things we want to do is we want to be able to tell Mixi and tell the phone system which physical device you're going to be using, and we call that binding. So you can do that a couple of ways. We have the pop-up here, so I could click this bind link here, or I can go down here and click bind to here. Go ahead and select bind to, and we can either bind to the internal soft phone if you're going to be using the soft phone in Mixi, or if you're going to bind to a call from the device. If you have a Xultus phone, this is the easiest way to do this for a physical phone. So you click this, you click next, and you go to that phone and dial whatever it says to dial. So in this case, I'm going to be dialing star 27002, and then either pick up the handset or press the pound key. And that's all it takes to do to bind Mixi to this phone. And now what's going to happen is, now that you've done that, now when you get an incoming call, it will know what physical device to send that call to. And with our system, you can bind to multiple phones. So if you're in a different office or somewhere else, you can then just change the binding to that phone, and the phone system will find you at that physical device. The other thing we want to do is, let's take the opportunity to set up your voicemail. We can do that here a couple of ways. Mixi knows that it hasn't been set up yet, so I can either click the call voicemail button here, or I can press the message button on the phone.
Voicemail system. Please enter your password, then press pound.
So this is where you would put your
into the group mailbox.
This is where you would put your default password, the one that your system administrator set initially.
New mailbox setup. You will be prompted to set your password and to record your name.
Go ahead and follow the prompts to change your password and or record your name and greeting. Once you do that, not only is your phone set up for Mixi, but your voicemail is set up as well. So once we have that done, we really have configured most of the installation that we need for Mixi. Let me go ahead and just move the Mixi window around here so I can make it a little bit bigger. One other thing that we'll want to do is we have a feature that you can go to Preferences, that's under the File menu, select Preferences, and go to Device Access Policy, and we have a couple of choices here. So this is going to be how you're going to manipulate multiple incoming calls. how you're going to manage the incoming calls. You can do them on the phone, but if you're running Mixi, you probably want to do them in Mixi, as long as Mixi is running. So this would be the normal setting for that. But if you wanted to do most of your call management on the phone itself, then you would set it for here. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it here for manage via Mixi, because it's easier. So now we've done the basic configuration and installation, just a little bit of orientation around the screen. I've got my buddy lists here, which we'll show you in a different video. We can set our presence up here. We can click this to make phone calls. We can click here for the address book, here for the visual voicemail, and some other features there that we'll explain in another video. But really at this point, we're ready to make phone calls. So let me show you what an incoming call would look like. It's going to look like this. So we have the call coming in here. With Mixi, I see the call appearance here. I can double click anywhere here in this blue area, or I could click this handset icon here to answer the phone, or I have this pop-up and I can answer the phone that way, or I could just pick up the handset. All of those ways work. So that's answering a phone call. Making a phone call is as simple as clicking the voice call button. You can go ahead and then type the number that you want here, or copy and paste to get that number there. You can click that, and it's making a phone call that way. So very easy to make calls and receive calls. So we're all set here. So that completes the installation instructions. Mixi is now ready to use. See the next video tutorial on how to configure and use Mixi. Thank you very much.